HARK, we are here. It is time for yet another Star Wars Unlimited video. Gen Con happened this weekend. There's a lot to talk about. This video is going to try to be structured similarly to the way that other videos have been in the past. You're going to see previews, you're going to see art, I think. You're going to see a lot of Gen Con coverage. But I was actually sick starting Tuesday of this past week, so before the last video aired. So I haven't really been able to keep and get all the information in order like I would have in the previous video. So you're going to see some stuff out of order. I have all the previews laid out, everything that we're going to be showcasing, the Gamegenic accessories. I'll talk a little bit about it, the streams that I watched, and all kinds of fun stuff. But there's a lot of really cool things that came out of Gen Con. I am very, very excited. For now, let's head over to the next segment. So the first couple of cards that we're going to see here come from the pre-Gen Con stream video, and then also the first Gen Con in-flight video. Technically the first and the second. They did a demo game showcasing the demo decks on a live stream that was showcased to us on, I believe, Wednesday as them going to Gen Con. Then our first set of cards after that were Friday. And that's where most of these come from. So our first card here is a Vigilance 1 cost 2/1B surgical droid, one of my favorite droids. Not my favorite, but one of. It's a ground unit. It has 1 power, 3 health, and on it is a droid. On attack, you may heal 2 damage from another unit. This is a common from SOR, and it looks like it's number 58. That might not be accurate, but my image is blurry. Unfortunately, I had to take these from screenshots. Not screenshots. I had to take screenshots from videos. It's a nice little vigilance thing. It is not heroism, so a villainy deck could use this as well. But this guy is going to be useful to just plink something, a base or another unit, and then heal some damage off of your own stuff. And if potentially you can get that done multiple times, so far we can't, but if you could, that would be pretty fantastic. Vigilance, we know the Sentinel, the blocker, the big butt, and the healing faction. And that's exactly what 2/1B is going to do for you. For a 1 cost, it has a bigger butt than other 1 costs. But at the same time, it will also heal damage from your units. And this is a fantastic card that was included in the demo decks. Next, we have one of our first big units to hit the board. And we're going to have a couple of these. Different types, but this one showcases what a larger cost unit is going to be able to do within Star Wars Unlimited. And we have here the ATST, known to many fans as the Chicken Walker. It is a 6 cost villainy ground unit, 6 power, 7 health, Imperial Vehicle Walker. It has Overwhelm. It is a common, and it is 232 from SOR. Overwhelm says, when attacking an enemy unit, deal excess damage to the opponent's base. If you are familiar with Magic the Gathering, this is Trample. Fantastic card. It's draw upable by Tarkin. It's re-enabled for attacks by Mahdi. It can be accelerated utilizing Super Laser Technician. 6 attacks, 7 health. This guy's going to stick around for a while. He blows up Sentinels. This is an all-around great card. 6 cost is going to be potentially could be tough to get to. It just depends on how quickly your opponent can get damage out against you. But this is a big boy walker that's going to just start blasting things. It is the best use of this card is going to be to take out the Sentinel that your opponent has to be able to do the remaining damage to your opponent's base. Or if your opponent's got a troublesome ground unit that keeps attacking you or keeps restoring or does all kinds of cool things for themselves, then you just ATST it and still get the damage over it, and then you still have the big ATST ready to blast the next turn. So 6 cost, like I said, hefty, but for what it brings to the table, this is a fantastic card. Probably just a 2 of, though, especially if you're running Tarkin in your deck, your villainy deck, because you have more opportunities of being able to grab it with multiple Tarkins, and just all around a really great vehicle unit for the Imperial side. Next, we have a preview of a new leader that was given to us on the FFG stream, and it is Chewbacca, Walking Carpet. He is a Vigilance Heroism leader. He has an action that says Exhaust. Play a unit that costs 3 or less from your hand, paying its cost. It gains Sentinel for the phase. Its epic action is flipping this card over when you control 7 or more resources, and it becomes a 2/9. On its ground unit side, it is a 7 cost Vigilance Heroism ground leader unit with 2 power, 9 9 health. It is an underworld Wookiee. It has Sentinel and it has Grit. Grit, it gets damage for each damage on it. So Chewie is a big boy. Again, remember, Vigilance, big butt. The big walking carpet has a big butt. This opening side is what's going to help you try to keep you in the game, because each turn you get to drop one unit that doesn't have Sentinel and give it Sentinel until the end of the phase to prepare you to be able to get into combat with this Chewie. And as it takes more damage, which you can keep it at the exact damage you want utilizing cards like 2-1B or First Aid, and he just can then start smacking. And every time something comes into him, because he's got Sentinel, he gets more powerful and can just beat up something else as it drops onto the board. So I imagine once you get to 7 cost, 7 resources, you can choose to use his ability if you want, but I think because he himself is a Sentinel, you just flip him and force your opponent to attack him, and then towards the end of the round, once he's either taking damage or you're ready to be able to deal out some extra damage yourself, you attack with your Chewie and then blast that unit off the board, get some extra damage, and then you just go from there. So I like this Chewie a lot. I was a little perturbed by the art to begin with, but honestly, somebody pointed out that the title is Walking Carpet, and that sure enough is a walking carpet. It's the proportions to me that are a little weird, but Chewie's Chewie. Chewie gonna chew, right? He's a good boy. He's gonna go ahead and rip the arms off a droid or a Dejarik opponent, and you know, there's really nothing you're gonna be able to do about it, and that's kind of what this Chewie is about. Next, we have a new cunning unit that is also heroism, and it also is a Chewie. It's Chewbacca. 5 cost, cunning heroism, Chewbacca loyal companion ground unit, 3 power, 6 health, underworld Wookiee. It has Sentinel. When this unit is attacked, ready him, and it's an uncommon 198 from SLR. This Chewie serves a different purpose than the other Chewie. Still can realistically get rid of enemy units if necessary, but this Chewie's designed to, you drop him at the beginning of the round that you are able to have 5 resources. And because he comes in exhausted, but he is a Sentinel, something has to attack him that turn if they're going to attack at all in the ground arena. So Chewie, if it survives, can then just straight up attack that same round, because the summoning sickness isn't you cannot attack, it's you come in exhausted and you need to be ready to attack. So once Chewie becomes readied, he could just pop another unit or pop a base or whatever, and there you go. If you mix this Chewie in with the Chewie leader, that gives you access to Vigilance, which allows you to buff him up with heals or with shields, depending on what mechanic you're using to be able to keep your Sentinel unit safe, and he can just keep attacking every time he's attacked. So you got to get rid of this guy in one shot or waylay him in order to be able to deal with Chewie loyal companion and realistically get him out of the way to be able to deal with the rest of your opponent's threats. I imagine this one's going to be used a lot, and it is in my opinion, is a very powerful card, especially for cunning heroism, or even just heroism by itself. I don't think you'd pay the 7 for the out of aspect cunning, but it's not hard to make. Cunning leader, cunning base. It's not a difficult decision depending on what is, and cunning has a lot of tricks in it that want to use these types of cards anyway. Good Chewie, both good Chewies. This is also a good Chewie. Next, we have a very powerful card coming to us by way of GamesRadar, article linked in the description below. And I think it's something that is, it shows us a little bit of design, but it also shows us how powerful we can see cards in the future. And that card is Han Solo, Reluctant Hero, a 7 cost, cunning heroism ground unit with 6 power, 6 health. It is an underworld unit. It is a rare from SOR, number 198. And it has ambush and another ability that's not keyworded. While attacking, this unit deals combat damage before the defender. If you are a Magic player, you know that second ability is called First Strike. But effectively, First Strike in Magic the Gathering is when you're attacking anything, you deal damage first, and then damage gets calculated towards you. First Strike is a really good way of getting through blockers, of making it so that you don't get hurt by Death Touch or other effects that proc off of damage like Infect, things like that. Here, what's going to end up happening is that you're going to drop your Han Solo, he's going to pop up, ambush, and kill a unit, and not take damage on the crackback. And it is only on attacking. That's the difference between what this ability does and what First Strike does. First Strike does it no matter what. You do the damage first, period. This is while attacking. So if you attack Han, he's not going to shoot you first, because you're shooting first, obviously. But with this, if this Han is attacking as it's going to coming off of ambush, boom. Now, this is a card that benefits greatly from You're My Only Hope. Remember, you're my only hope. Take a 5 cost or reduce a card by 5 off the top of your deck. And if you have 5 or less health, it's free. If you have your R2 and 3PO combo and you're digging through your deck and you finally get that Han Solo on top, you're my only hope for 3. Pay the difference of the 5 to 7 with Han Solo to make him 2. So this is now a 5 cost. And you just 5 cost dropped a 6/6 ambush that deletes a unit and doesn't take any damage on the crackback. That's a power play. This is the You're My Only Hope enabler that I think people were looking for in the first set. There are other options that are likely coming down the line. I think even that Chewie is a good option for You're My Only Hope. This Han Solo is exactly how you want to see your You're My Only Hope turn go. Attack with R2, check the top card of the deck. If it's at Han Solo, drop it back down, your opponent does a thing, You're My Only Hope, Han Solo comes out, deletes a ground unit, and you're just like, no uta guta solo here, all right? Fantastic card. I think that we're gonna see a lot of this in play. I think this is gonna be another one of those 2 copy cards and not a 3 copy card, depending on how hard you want to go into the shenanigans of getting him out to be able to do things. And remember, this card can get buffed by Surprise Strike. So imagine this being an 8 power thing coming at something on the ground. So Vaders beware. Next, we're back into the FFG previews for cards from the demo decks and other cards that they want to showcase to us over Gen Con weekend. And we have here a Heroism vehicle that is a ground unit. You'll see in just a second. But this makes me very happy because these guys were one of my favorite decks in the Star Wars The Card Game LCG. And it is, in fact, the Snowspeeder, not a Rebel Snowspeeder. I mean, it is a Rebel, but it's not Rebel Snowspeeder. 5 cost, Heroism, ground unit, Snowspeeder, 3 health, 3 power, 6 health, Rebel vehicle speeder. It has ambush, and on attack, exhaust an enemy vehicle ground unit. It is a common, it is 244 from SOR. This guy does a lot. It's Rebel, so it gets help from all the Rebel shenanigans, such as Fleet Lieutenant and Leia. It ambushes right when it comes into play, so another decent target for You're My Only Hope. This would come out for 3 effectively, and you just boop. But it does 2 things. It also, it attacks when it comes out, but it also exhausts an enemy vehicle. So if you know you're going to be getting hit by the ATST on the next action, and you've got this guy out, you can Snowspeeder to delete another unit if it's got 3 health, or target a sentinel that you need to get off the field or do extra damage to. And then also, when it attacks, exhaust that ATST so it can't attack you on the next triggered activation. So this is actually a really good beginning of round card to drop if you have it in your hand or you know it's potentially going to be on the top of your deck. That second part's going to be a lot harder. You don't have that knowledge because you're drawing 2 cards at the end of the turn, so any R2D2 or 3PO knowledge you would normally have at that point is now gone. If it's in your hand, 5 cost, boop, no ATST this round unless you can unexhaust it, which Villainy can do, but you gotta put some work into it, and then you can just pop whatever. Lovely card. I've always loved the Snowspeeders. It was one of the first Star Wars Lego sets I had. I used to have the Micro Machines Action Fleet, I think that's what they were called, ships. This guy was one of the first ones that I got. I've always loved, I had the Micro Machine Snowspeeder. I've always loved Snowspeeders, and I've always loved to see them do well in games. They were one of my favorite decks of all time in the Star Wars LCG, even if they were only necessarily good for a couple of sets. I'll probably run 1 or 2, especially if we can do vehicle shenanigans. If I can get a bunch of ground vehicles and a bunch of space vehicles, ooh boy. Next, we have a plucky little spacecraft that's going to defend your side of the Force as long as you are at least vigilant. We have the System Patrol Craft, 4 cost Vigilance Space Unit, 3 power, 4 health, Vehicle Fighter, Sentinel, common, I'm gonna guess 68, that's probably wrong, again, blurry image because it was from the Gen Con stream. It's a cool little ship, reminds me of the Kimolga class fighter, which was, I believe, originally introduced in Star Wars Galaxies and was used in other supplementary context. This is a decent little Sentinel space fighter. Can't be deleted off the board by the Imperial Interceptor in one shot. It's going to defend itself against a lot of the space units that we've seen, both heroism and villainy. And this is just a good, I'm going to plop you in space and you're going to sit there for a turn or two, but you're going to keep my space side safe. And this is something that is very reminiscent of the way that Space is played sometimes in the Star Wars customizable card game by Decipher, where you just drop a token space package that can make it so that you're not being hampered by not having space. And this is exactly that same type of card. Drop 4 of these in your deck and you're protecting space for probably 4 turns, maybe even 5, depending on how much pressure your opponent is exerting in space. And who knows how side decking works in this game. This could just go in your side deck, and if you pre-side like you do in Fab, you could set this up for your defense if you know your opponent is running a space heavy deck. I almost want to say it's 1 cost too much, but again, starting with 2 resources, certain decks can do a bunch of resource shenanigans, especially command. So if you stick this in a command vigilance deck, it doesn't matter if it's heroism or villainy, it's still going to do some work for you. There are ways of being able to make this very effective for defending yourself in space, and I think it's a cool card. Again, probably 1 or 2 of in the main deck, the rest on the sideboard if you're worried about space, or all 3 in the sideboard if it's a pre-side decision for our game, which we don't know as of yet. Next, we have another space unit. This one's a doozy. We have here a TIE Advanced 4-cost villainy space unit, 3 power, 2 health, Imperial Vehicle Fighter. When played, give 2 experience tokens to another friendly Imperial unit. It is an uncommon and it is 231 out of 252. Wing Leader, but Imperial side. Pretty good card. Giving those 2 experience tokens to another friendly Imperial unit is gonna be baller. Drop it on the ATST, much harder to kill. Drop it on the Vader, goodbye. Drop it on any of your other TIEs, drop it on the Imperial Interceptor. The 2 experience tokens that this card gives makes it absolutely worth the 4 cost, because you're already dropping a 3/2 body in space, and then you can give 2 experience tokens to something else. I actually think this card is much better than Wing Leader, and the reason why is that Wing Leader doesn't feel like it has enough going for itself, even though it does cost less. Villainy also has a way of utilizing those experience tokens on Imperial units much more than what Rebels could. Rebels are more worried about defense, so the experience tokens can definitely help keeping a defender on the field, but the experience tokens from TIE Advance is just continuing to exert that pressure, that oppression that the Empire can bring to the game and to their foes. Dropping this on, like we said, the ATST, Vader, dropping on a cell block guard makes it a 3/3 Sentinel into a 5/5 Sentinel. Drop it on a Death Star Stormtrooper, and now that thing is a 5/3. There's a lot to work with these 2 experience tokens, and I definitely believe, I don't think this is supposed to be the case, but I definitely believe that the Imperial tag benefits from experience far more than the Rebels do. And this is an automatic 3 of in any villainy deck that I would be playing that wants to have units on the board attacking or defending. I love it. It's a fantastic card. Our last card preview of the week is a doozy. This comes to us by way of the FFG Twitter, Unlimited FFG Twitter. And it is the big cheese himself, Emperor Palpatine, master of the dark side. 8 cost, aggression, villainy, ground units. He is 6 power, 6 health, because he is the executor of Order 66. Force, Imperial, Sith, official, lots of important keywords there. He has overwhelm. When played, deal 6 damage divided as you choose among enemy units. He is a rare, and he's 135 out of 252 from SOR. Lots to unpack here. Obviously, meme joke, Order 66, but 6 power, 6 health on an 8 cost unit doesn't normally seem like a lot, but with that when played ability, it's nuts. The ATST costs 6 for a 6/7, but this guy deals a ton of damage onto the board for enemy units when he drops into play, and he also has overwhelm. So, and with that force keyword, that means that as long as you have him on the board, force choke costs 1. With the Imperial keyword, he procs off a bunch of different Imperial things, so your Snowtrooper Lieutenant can attack with it. It can attack this guy out. Sith keyword, we don't have a huge amount of stuff yet, but official means that the Royal Guard will activate Sentinel. So if you have the Royal Guard on board first, then you drop this guy, all of a sudden your Royal Guard has extra power, and also, I believe it's extra power, could be extra health, and Sentinel. And again, with Imperial, you can do the extra attacks, you can flip the cards off the top of your deck with Tarkin, lots of different things available for him. 8 cost is pretty hefty. I don't know, I thought about this for a minute, and this is an interesting Galactic Ambition target. You're gonna take 8 damage to plop this guy onto the field, but if 8 damage clears the field and saves you more damage with the when played effect, that might be worth it. And then, because if you have If you have the 8 resources to play Palpatine, but you have a galactic ambition in your hand and Vader is your leader, and you have a Mahdi on the board, yes, this is the like angel food cake situation. But you can play galactic ambition, drop the Emperor Palpatine, clear your opponent's board, and then on your next action, activate Vader's effect, pay the 1, deal damage to Mahdi. Mahdi untaps this guy, and on your next action, he can punch in for 6. There are plays that I think that maybe a one-off galactic ambition with big units like this would be worthwhile, as long as it doesn't kill you and sets you up for a game-winning play that round. This is a fantastic card, and he's only a rare, so there's a lot of interesting stuff that'll be coming out of the rare slot. This guy will be an interesting card. It'll be interesting to see what his alternate arts and treatments will end up being, because this art is pretty good, but I feel like they could probably do some crazy fun things with the art for Emperor Palpatine. Our next segment here is going to showcase something that I actually talked about a little bit on stream this week, because it was information that I got that I wanted to talk about, and it was something very exciting to me. But before we get to that, I want to give a big shout out to the Jodo cast. Link to their tweets below and link to their channel below as well. They took a lot of high quality pictures that showcase a lot of these products, and in addition to the stream we got from FFG about Gamegenic, again, links below, we have a lot of information and a lot of looks at what's coming and what's going to be happening, and context for everything that should be dropping together. It will be dropping together with the release of Star Wars Unlimited in 2024. But shout outs to JodoCast for all these high quality pictures. They are the ones that I'm exclusively using for this video. So let's get right to it. Gamegenic has a line of supplies specifically made for Star Wars Unlimited that they will be releasing alongside Star Wars Unlimited. You can see here we have game mats that are designed to be played with the game. There are mats with cards and play zones and mats without. There's also an XL 2-player board that does come with the card and play zones. We have our entry-level base box. There was a name for this and I forgot exactly what it was called. And then we have like a two deck box here that's very similar to the Stronghold that Gamegenic already sells. We have here another look at the smaller base entry deck box that they have, and then the single deck box. You'll notice there is an insignia here for villainy on the deck box. We have sleeves, we have tokens, all these other lovely tokens. Spoilers, a -1/-1 token. Shields. That is, I think, the epic action crossout, damage, +1/+1 experience tokens, +1/+1 temporary, +0/+1 temporary, +1/+0 temporary, and I believe this is supposed to be another like action token. This is your initiative. These sleeves look really good. I'm excited, very hyped for this red one. The way they showed it off on stream, super good, super fantastic. The next pictures here should come from the case that showcases exactly how these deck boxes look. You'll note we have a vigilance one, a command one, aggression one. This is an interesting thing here. We have a villainy one, and then a heroism base box, and then another base box back here. One of the things that they were talking about in the stream specifically is that all of these products are designed with Star Wars Unlimited in mind. That means that you have space for 60 cards double sleeved. You have an open slot here that fits the new slide case that's actually coming this year, which I'm hella excited about, because the slide cases conceptually are actually better than the concept of the mini snap, which I think is also really cool. That's why I bought 10 of them. I bought 10 of them like 2 days before they announced the slide cases. You get to slide in your card into the case for the leader, and because it's clear and double-sided, you get to put it in the box, and it designates what the box looks like, what's in the box. But also you just plop it out, place it on the board, and bam. You also have a slot in here for your base that you can just pull out, and there you go. You are now set for base and leader. You have a drawer here which comes in all of these boxes for all of your tokens. So one of these boxes will hold everything you need for one deck to be able to play. And the same thing goes for this right here. We'll see what that looks like on the next slide. Mat down here, it's again, what I call Vader's Fist. This is one of the most beautiful pieces of art that they have for the game. Absolutely fantastic. It looks dope. I'm going to be buying this mat day one, and I'm going to be playing it. I'm a little sad it doesn't have the zones on it, but at the same time, it's probably a little bit beneficial since I'm going to know how to play the game. Next slide here, we have, we're seeing the other side of some of these. Inside these base level boxes, they have these little snap token boxes. And these are designed to hold all the acrylic tokens that Gamegenic is going to sell for the game. But it does fit directly in this box. So you see you have your cards, which will fit 60 double sleeve cards. You have the token box in the back, and that'll be everything you need for this. So this is actually a great like pseudo limited box. Put your tokens in there, put your sleeves in there, ready for just going from place to place. So all you have is the one box and your mat, and you're ready to go to do your sealed games, your draft games, whatever other small types of games. You can put your casual decks in these, and then for the tryhards like me, you can get these bigger deck boxes to be able to do some cool stuff with those. And then we have here on the next slot the 2-player box, which you can't see it on this side, but it does have the base slots on both sides. The front of it will have access to see both of the leaders. This is a great box that I think not every player, but most players who are considering teaching should pick up, so that way you can just stick the starters directly in this, and then you can have them all sleeved up in Vader and Luke sleeves, or whatever sleeves are your choice. And then you go, hey, do you want to learn how to play Star Wars Unlimited? If somebody says yeah, you plop this out. It has everything you need. You've got your mat set aside, ready to go. Leader base, tokens, deck, done. Everything needed in one Stronghold style box. And these boxes are dope. It's all new material. So Josh Massey, who is our organized play manager, he managed to talk about that on the stream a lot, to a large extent, and has been very excited with since he first saw the items in Germany, which is where Gamegenic is based out of, and was able to really correctly convey how these things feel and how important they're going to be for players if they want these high quality premium products. The other thing, and I'm giving massive props to Josh for this, when I heard him talking about the sleeves, I knew he's a card game player. There are situations where you come into games where developers are not necessarily players of the game that they develop, right? There's like little nuances that a competitive player or a casual player will know and be able to speak to compared to somebody who doesn't have these things. Josh Massey is not one of those game developers that just doesn't know things. He knows how sleeves handle. There was a term he specifically used where he was going through and he had, I believe, the red ones, might have been the blue ones, where he was shuffling them, and he was just kind of casually shuffling them as he was listening and talking to him. And I noticed he wasn't like doing the extra hand movements you have to make sure that the sleeves don't split, so they don't get caught. And the term that he used was, as he was shuffling, they don't have the hitch that you get when you like rifle shuffle. And I can't really show this example without pulling out something that's not really available to me. That word, one, made me instantly know Josh knows what he's talking about, and two, made me super hyped for these sleeves. I have explained before in a previous video that dragon shields are the sleeves that I use the most. I've used a bunch of different sleeves throughout my entire card gaming career, some really good, some really bad. Dragon shields are pretty much the top ones, besides katanas, that are available on the market currently to be used. But if these new Gamegenic sleeves for this specific game feel as good as Josh was able to convey, these will be the best sleeves on the market, guaranteed. Completely new formula. They're specifically designed to not split, to be able to, rifle shuffle and not have the corners bend every time you do it. The way that the feeling was conveyed during the stream, it made my heart happy, because I knew the boxes were going to be good. I knew the tokens were going to be good. I knew the mats were going to be good. Gamegenic makes a high quality product, but their sleeves, they're not bad. They're just not as good as, right? These I am beyond hyped for. So I don't want to overstress. I don't want to make it seem like I'm being a shill for a company that's not paying me money to shill for them. And so this is just my expectation is set as long as they're as good as the dragon shields, not necessarily as good as the katanas, but if they're as good as the dragon shields, I will buy these and exclusively these for Star Wars Unlimited and be insanely happy. Like I said, these red ones right here, I think are just bonkers. They look so good. I saw the blue ones and I was like, oh, that's nice. And then the Gamegenic guy, I believe his name was Andre, and if I got the name wrong, I deeply apologize. But when he pulled out the red one, I was like, I'm sold. Give me the red ones. Give me the red ones. This is something that I needed to see and I needed to hear about these products, and I am super hyped. 2024, the release of Star Wars Unlimited is going to be insanely expensive for me, but I am excited for it. I am ready for it. I want to inject it directly into my veins We've got 4 months left of 2023, but I still think we probably have at least 6 months until the game actually releases. Don't know any specifics. And as of recording, an official launch date has not been announced, but if it does before I finish editing my video, you'll see it eventually. And if not, we'll comment on it later. But the Gamegenic supplies, primo. I am, just give it all to me. Just give me all of them. And I said this in chat, and I think that Gamegenic should really consider, not that they probably haven't already, they should really consider getting these over to the professor at Talarian Community College, because the professor does reviews of products, of deck boxes like this a lot, and I think he would be very interested in seeing the sleeves and in seeing these deck boxes and comparing them to how they work for other games. One of the reasons why is because, going back to the screen, this deck box, if it didn't have any of the insignias on it, would be absolutely perfect for Flesh and Blood. I think even more so than Prof's own box. Not that Prof's box is bad, it's great. I'm gonna buy myself at least 2. The way that this is set up, this doesn't necessarily have to be a Star Wars leader. This could be your hero for Flesh and Blood. Gamegenic has done nothing but impress me for the last 6 months on their product lines. They are coming out with so many good products. I'm gonna buy myself 100 of those slide snaps. Probably not that many, but I'm gonna buy a lot. I'm gonna need one for every leader for Star Wars Unlimited. I'm gonna need them for all my equipment in Flesh and Blood. Who knows what else I'm gonna need them for? I've talked long enough. I've gushed long enough about Gamegenic. I can't wait. The last images that I have here are going to be exactly what the event exclusive promo cards for Luke and Vader Leader look like at Gen Con. If you were at Gen Con, you got some of these. If not, the next event you'll see these at is Spiel in Germany, I believe is where Josh said that the event is gonna take place. So if you're out in Germany, and supposedly they will be German language cards, you'll get access to these 2 lovely leaders. You'll see they are effectively full art extended border or borderless cards for each of the leaders that we have here. So Vader, Luke, and then on the other side, we have extended art versions of the unit side. Fantastic looking cards. They look good enough that I'm like, dang, I wish I had them, but not so good that I'm like, damn, I wish I had them. If I can get my hands on the Vader one, I would be pretty happy, but these are great little prizes for people that were able to get to them. And the people that went to Gen Con, the people that are going to go to these events, they absolutely deserve the ability to say, hey, I was there, I got to do this thing. I hope these things don't get scalped too much. I know that Lorcana is going to have a huge issue with their packs and promos being scalped from Gen Con. These things here, they're just copies of the starter deck leaders. You're going to see the starter deck leaders anyway, but these are really nice looking full art, extended art, whatever you want to call it, cards. I do kind of wish that these had been clear. Good art though, good art, good art. Star Wars Unlimited is a fantastic game that's coming forward. I have been hyped all weekend for it, and it's been all great stuff. I love hearing all the updates coming out of Gen Con. If you were at Gen Con, let me know in the comments below what your experience was. If you liked the promos, if you saw the Gamegenic stuff, and if you're excited for that, let me know what you're excited about coming up in the future of the game. Let me know when you think the game is going to release. Now remember, global release is 2024. There's not going to be any release of any product prior to 2024, and that's been stated on stream by Josh Massey. When do you think the game is going to be coming out? I'm going to go ahead and guess, and I'm going to say March. There was one last little stream that happened yesterday that did not cover any release date, and I'm thankful for that because that means I didn't have to change the video. They didn't announce a release date, which means it's probably still at least another 5, probably 6 months out. I'm thinking March. I'm hoping it's not May. Regardless of when it comes out, we're going to be ready for it because here at RybackStun, we're going to give you all the coverage you could possibly imagine for Star Wars Unlimited. We've done every preview. We've done every art. We've done every piece of information that I could possibly get my hands on. That is fantastic. That is excellent. We are all ready to go. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. If you could do the YouTube thing, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, watch the video, all the other stuff. Follow me on my socials, twitter.com/RybackStun, mastodon.social/RybackStun, I think. I don't know. I'm over there. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/RybackStun. Obviously, you were here. Thank you very much for joining me, everyone. This lovely Gen Con coverage-filled episode. I hope everything was fantastic for you. And with that, I will see you all in the stars.